Welcome back to Whitt Acres. I'm excited for this one. It is finally time to start seeds. Last year I let my gardens down, so this year I'm determined to make a beautiful and productive show garden. So we're finally coming into the greenhouse. I still have the greenhouse covered with a tarp, so it is kind of dark in here, but I do have it all set up and cleaned and ready to start some seeds and sow some trays. I don't only grow a ton of flowers to have a beautiful setting to live and work in, I also try and grow a lot of my own food. So today we're going to be starting some vegetables and some flowers, and recently a company reached out to me to help with that. Patio Gem has sent out a 10-pack seed starting kit with all I need to start my seeds except for the soil and seed. Hey Poppy, you come to help. You come to help, buddy. Good boy. Let's get this opened up and see what all we have. This stack seems to be all the seed starting plug trays here. We have holes already in the bottom, and we have sets of 12. This is a 10 pack, so there should be all 10. And then we have lids as well with a hole here, and I'll show you what those holes are for. And the rest of it. So it comes with a pair of gardening gloves with some gription on them. Probably not going to fit my hands. And then we have all of these discs floating around with holes in them. So we'll get this together. But we also have some gardening tools, a dibber, a scoop, and a poker. And then we have a bunch of metal clips and some plant tags. So I'll show you what one of these is supposed to look like. This is the solid bottom tray. Take one of these, put it inside. And now you can bottom water your seedlings instead of top watering, which is very beneficial to growing anything. We'll get one of the lids here. And the lid will go on top as a humidity dome to keep everything moist as you're germinating your seeds. And to help with that, we have this little disc. This disc will pop right down in, just like that. And then now you can spin this disc and either have the holes wide open, half open, or as you're starting your seeds, you'll want them completely shut. Now we also have metal clips here, which I imagine are to keep everything shut in case you have some wind blowing or you're carrying them. You want to keep them nice and closed so nothing pops open. And you are ready to start some seeds. You just add soil and the seed. This is going to be a very nice handy kit to have, and it's going to get me well underway with starting my garden this year. So let's look at the seeds I'm going to be starting today. Got my puppy dog sitting right outside the greenhouse, just guarding the door, looking out for hawks. Today mostly I'm going to be starting some vegetables that I can get out early and they're a little bit more cold hardy, as well as some herbs that are just going to take longer to start and grow. The flower I'm going to be starting today is verbena. So verbena is a nice cluster flower, and this one's going to be a variety of colors. But I did like this one, but it does take a long time to grow. It takes up to 2 to 3 weeks to actually germinate. So I want to get this one started early now. I'm also going to be starting some Copenhagen market cabbage. I have some other cabbages I want to grow, but I'm going to be starting this one first and probably growing as many as I can. And I'll be able to get this out early with a cover on it and hopefully get some nice early cabbage this year. I'll also be starting some Brussels sprouts. These take a little bit longer to grow, but it can also go out early, and hopefully I can get a harvest before summer comes. I have broccoli and cauliflower as well. This is going to be artwork broccoli and snowball cauliflower. I grew these last year and had an okay harvest, but then the bugs pretty much got to the rest of them. So I'm going to be trying these again with a bug resistant cover. And I'm probably going to have that on the Copenhagen market cabbage as well. I didn't get any of this broccoli to grow last year, and I really wanted to see it in person. So I'm going to be trying the broccoli romanesco again to try and get just a new plant that I haven't grown before. I think that'll be really interesting to have that type of head. I'm going to try and get that growing as well and get that going before actual hot weather comes. A lot of these won't like the hot weather, so I'm trying to get them started early, and I didn't do that last year. But trying to do better this year. The artichoke is another one that's going to take a while. It can take up to 20 days to germinate. So I'm going to get this one started, and I do have some that I grew last year and they might have survived the winter, but they probably didn't. So hopefully I still have those ones, but if not, I want to grow some more. And these take up to 120 days to harvest, and I don't have a super long growing season here in zone 6A. So we're going to get this one started as well. And another one that takes a while to come to harvest, 95 days, this Utah celery. So I'm going to try and grow this. I've never successfully grown celery before, so that one's the new one, so I'm going to try that. German chamomile I did grow last year, and I got a couple plants in the ground, but this one's not a perennial here where I live, so I'm gonna have to be sowing this every year, and I don't really mind. I want to have this available in the garden. One that does keep coming back, but I do want some more of it, is chives. I like the flower itself, not necessarily using it for dishes or using it in dinner, but I always have it available for that reason, because it does keep coming back, the couple patches I have, and I even have it in the food forest. So I'm going to be starting some more of this to have just more purple flower, because I like the way it blooms. Another one I want to get started and hopefully established here is thyme. I think I can grow it as a perennial herb in my zone. So I'm going to try and get this started and probably plant it in an herb bed that I still have yet to build. So make sure you subscribe down below, because I have a lot of gardening projects to do this year. And then the last two that I want to get started today with these Patio Gem seed starting kits is the spearmint, because I want that for my herb garden as well. I'll probably have to put that in a container, but I want it, you'll see how the herb garden comes together. But this one can take up to 25 days to germinate, and I'm going to get this one started. And rosemary is the last one we're going to sow today with the Patio Gem seed starting kits. It can take up to 30 days to germinate, so I want to get it started, and 90 days to harvest. And I'm going to be harvesting these and hanging them to dry, so I can use them in the barn for freshening up the chickens' bedding, but also as different dried projects. So rosemary is the last one we're going to get started. So what I'm going to do is get all these seed trays filled up with soil, stacked together and put together, and then I'm going to start sowing the seeds. That kind of fits on there. I mean, my knuckles are down here, but fingers aren't long enough. I mean, if I wanted to wear them, I could. Not sure why I would, but they're in the box. You ready to get started, puppy? Okay. Alright, I got them all filled up and they look good. I feel so professional with them looking all uniform. The compost I'm using is from a local nursery. It's a mushroom compost, so it's spent mushroom compost. And it is moistened by the rain at a perfect chocolate cake consistency. So that's what I'm using. I did sift it through this sifter here. The sifter is probably, I don't know, 1/4 inch little holes. So I get pretty fine compost out of that. And it's perfect for starting seeds. In the future, I would like to use my own compost, but my big pile compost I already flipped and it is not ready yet. So I'm still bringing in compost from outside. If you notice, there's only 8 containers here. I'm not going to be sowing 12 each of everything that I'm starting today. I don't need 12 of everything, so I might do 4, 4, and 4 for some things and a full 12 rack for the rest of it. I'm gonna go through and get all of these sown in, and then we'll go over what needs to be done next to get them to germinate. I'm not going to be using the gloves. You can definitely use them if you want to, but I do like getting my hands in the soft sifted compost. But I will be using some of their tools to sow the seeds. My preference is this dibber tool. I just like that little spear where you can get into the soil here and just make a small little crater and plant the seed. It'll be perfect for going around and just making a nice little spot to settle a seed in. For larger transplants, you can just poke the thing down straight in, and that gives you a nice full hole to drop the root and everything for quick transplanting. And then you have this other tool, which is good for getting things out. You'll want to slip this down to the side, and whenever this pot is full of roots, it'll hold together a lot better, and you'll be able to slide this in and carefully pop your seedlings out of their trays. I imagine that's what this side is for as well, is to get in there and cut around the outside and free it up so you could then pop it out like a pizza slice. All right, let's get started sowing some seeds. Now that the soil's in, the seeds are sown and marked, we can now bottom water to allow the soil to soak up more moisture and germinate the seeds. Now I'm going to leave these sit here on a level rack so they can soak up all the water that I just poured in there and have a nice even moisture throughout. And if you've been super observant during this video, then you've noticed that I only have 8 of the 10 starter kits out here right now that I've sown today. And that is because there is one more step to starting these seeds. And that would be to take these seeds somewhere warm, because my little greenhouse is not warm enough for our freezing temperatures that we still have here at night during February. You don't need a heat mat. Being in room temperature should be warm enough to start all of these seeds I'm starting today. So I'll take you in and show you the 2 that I've already started and see if we have any germination. In here I've sown some delphinium and black-eyed Susan because they take a little bit longer to start, and I wanted to get some perennial flowers started. So let's check in here and see if we have any germinating. Got 1 on the delphinium and 2 on the black-eyed Susan. I have these trays closed up right now and no vent holes. Once they do germinate and pop out of the soil, you're going to want to get them right under some lights, either grow lights inside or in the direct sun outside. I'm glad to see some germination on those, because whenever I was sowing those, I actually feel I sowed them a little bit too deep, and if you sow them too deep, the seed won't have enough energy to push the soil off of the top of it to actually emerge in the top, and it'll just rot away and you'll never even think you had any germination. So I think I might try and re-sow some of those and see if I can get some better germination. This 10-pack Patio Gem kit is definitely going to get my garden season underway easily and will help get my seeds germinated better. The domes are going to help keep the humidity in, while the vents are going to help release some humidity as they're needed as they start growing, as well as the bottom watering feature that really helps roots reach all the way down. I'm going to be doing a lot more seed starting to fill out the gardens this year. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see, let me know, but I do have to fill out the cut flower garden as well as the vegetable garden, and I'm going to be having a vegetable garden for all the animals up at the barn and all the other flowers that I have to put around the pond and my other gardens to make the whole place beautiful this year for a garden show year. If you haven't checked out our garden tour channel, make sure you subscribe to that one for all the garden tours we're going to be doing weekly this growing season. If you haven't seen our garden tours, go ahead down in the description and check out our garden tours channel. Make sure you're subscribed so you get all the garden tours we're going to be doing this year. I'll have a link down in the description for the Patio Gem kit if you want to get one and get your garden started the proper way this year. That's all for this one. If you love nature, hit the subscribe button and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.